Welcome to the Soul of Monks Show, episode 15 with Courtney Brown, secretary at Bluegrass, creator of Alabama Solutions. We're going to be talking about an upcoming event in April at Stove House in Huntsville, Alabama, and about healthcare in Alabama in general. The event coming up is April 18th at Stove House here in Huntsville, Alabama, and it's Music for Healthcare, benefit for the Community Free Clinic of Huntsville. It'll be 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's free, but encourage donations. We'll be taking digital donations and clinic supplies, which includes brown paper lunch bags, Ziploc sandwich bags, disinfectant wipes and hand sanitizer, paper towels, trash bags, 13 and 30 gallon, toilet paper, clinic medicines, which I guess include antifungal cream, Band-Aids, gauze tape, aspirin, Tylenol, Advil, examination gloves, vitamins, especially D, and cough medicines. No decongestion.
For that lady as well.
Yeah, every time that I'm in the hospital with my heart condition, nurses always make me feel so much better about everything, you know? Like, even if I start, because I'll be bugging out because I know how much it's going to cost. It's not like I own shit or I have shit, and that's the reason I keep no shit. It's because I have a chronic heart condition, and I have to go to the hospital, and I can't really pay hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't know. I just gotta do what I gotta do. Keep hustling. Watch out.
Most of their savings, more than 60% of insured Americans with medical bills blow through most or all of their savings. So even if they have
Yes.
Jesus freaking
That's
Christ.
what I'm saying, is that people who have insurance, they're paying insane amounts of money.
Oh yeah.
And somehow still fighting for the fact that they should have to pay it. They're like fighting. They're like, no, I want to. I want to pay this person.
Like, listen,
they make
bro.
me more secure. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah. I don't know how this is gonna work, but here's what I'm thinking. I have enough money, and this is never in the policies and the options that they give to me on the marketplace, but I can afford $100 a month, no deductible, right? Which is not a health insurance policy at all for me. But I'm like, I can donate to the system. Y'all need more money? Shit, I would gladly give y'all $100 if you just give us free healthcare. Like, who's not to say that couldn't happen? And then that could be for I don't know. I'm just thinking out
I
loud.
wish we could, choose where our taxes go. That would,
Yes. It's our money.
Dude, the military would be so butthurt. Cops would be so butthurt.
It's not even going to them. That's another thing. It's not going to the individual person. It's going to weapons. For them to hold weapons over other people,
Yeah.
And if it were to go to these individual peoples, could you imagine how much more they could afford housing, for veterans, or healthcare, or
housing's not an issue. We have 17, I think the last thing I read, we have 17 million vacant homes, and our homeless population is 750,000. So we got more than enough places for people to stay.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with food. We got plenty of food for people to eat.
It's not paid
We
yet.
literally we throw away half of the food that we make.
Oh yeah.
It's not an issue of that. It's a narrative of scarcity, so that way we can teach poor people that there's a fake meritocracy that we all have to support.
Yeah. I mean, if
you got to punish the poor. They gotta hurt, or else the rewarded ones, the capitalist avatars, don't. Their success doesn't feel as sweet. you know.
I'm sure they sleep very well at night. No, but yeah,
Yeah, that
like
has to
if
be the homeless man for Brad
yeah,
Pitt to look so handsome, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. I think it's the Department of Defense that gets paid the most. That is getting paid the most. I'm trying to think like when you break down the military budget, because I think according to 2014, it was up to 60 something percent, 57% on nationalpriorities.org. But if you break it down, I know that there's a lot of contractors around in Huntsville, and I know that they're
Hmm.
getting paid through our tax dollars.
Yeah, that's why you can't talk about this issue in Huntsville. People will start bugging out because that's usually.
No, they talk to me about it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Uh. Oh yeah.
That's goddamn disrespectful.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's just because I'm so angry about it. Look at
Yeah, there's no.
53%. There
Yeah,
it
there's
is.
no other way to actually just
Housing
take
and
it in.
community 6%. Oh, okay, it's 6%. Okay, I thought it was at 2%. Okay, that's not as bad as what I thought, but still, that's look. Veterans 6%. Health, and I do think that mental health is within the health budget, so that's an even smaller percentage than 6% too.
Yeah, Reagan is the one who fucked up the mental health facilities here in the United States. In the 80s, I think he's the one who got rid of all the funding for mental health facilities. There's this huge.
Was it in the 80s? I thought it was in the 70s. Um, yeah, and you know what? They didn't even fix it. They just
No,
shut
they
it
never
all
did.
down. And then every time they talk about
There's a lot of people who are in jails and prison who have just mental health issues.
yeah, it's the only housing, really where you can house them, and they're like, they could possibly still hurt themselves though, you know. And it's so dumb because it's like, okay, so we're not gonna fix it, so you're just gonna get rid of it, and then you're going to slide, every time there's a mass shooter or mass shooting, you're gonna just be like, but our Second Amendment rights. I was like, well, what about healthcare? What about mental health care? When it comes to preventing harming someone else, homicide, or yourself, suicide. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they prevent that. That is one of the two questions they ask you before you are eligible to be in that facility. And they don't talk about this stuff, and it's like, well, let's work on fixing it, and then also listen to people that know what they're talking about, like make room for those types of people that have these experiences, and then whoever can ask for help, they will have that chance,
Mm-hmm.
but no one's giving that chance because they don't want to talk about it or something. Like, what the hell?
Well, because they don't have to.
Oh, it's gonna be hell to pay.
That's one thing I constantly have to remind myself of is that, like, I get really worked up because I'll just be reading stuff, listening to stuff, just trying to get a firm grasp of what's happening. And I just get really wound up. And then, it dawns on me at some point, it's like, oh, yeah, well, they don't really have to explain this to anyone ever. There's no point in explaining any part of it because they don't have to, and it doesn't matter to them,
I mean, that's millions of people that have been affected by mental illnesses.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, over the years, since the 80s, over the
Yeah.
years that someone had to deal with it. It's people, it's the taxpayers, it's it's everyone on this land because of that decision.
Mm.
After 1980. Okay, so that's multiple decades now that people have been dealing with this without our government saying a damn thing.
Right.
that I've heard anyways. Um, I think that would have saved a lot of lives. At least uncle,
Oh yeah, I was just
your
talking about
father.
people. Yeah, people in my family, my father and my uncles. If there had been some kind of conversation about mental health, they might have been able to handle their anger issues and all the other weird stuff. And
Yeah.
like,
You get to know yourself when you learn about your brain,
right,
you know? Mental well being, it is your brain, it's your functions of your brain, and you know yourself as a human being, and you can better control yourself because you're being honest in a way where you're being deeply honest and you know what's going on. And then you can better react or do something about it because of it. I think
right,
it's a very valuable education that we need in our nation.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, even I make jokes about people self diagnosing themselves through like memes and stuff, but I mean that might have even helped, you know, in
I mean,
in
maybe it
the
was their
eight,
only form, as sad as it is, but.
yeah, in the 80s and 90s and stuff, when
Mhm.
with uh, folks had no idea how to like describe what was going on or what they were
Mhm.
doing half the time,
Mhm. Mhm.
strangers to themselves, you know.
Yes. There's this psychiatrist on TikTok, that's educating like young peoples, and because she saw that there's a lot of misinformation out there and
Oh yeah.
someone needs to tell them. And so she actually created a TikTok account, and she's done a fantastic job. I love listening to her. And information like that does need to come out free, because there's a lot of free misinformation, and
Right.
uh, you got to combat it some way to where it's available to everybody, in any type of way,
Yeah,
I
we
would
don't
think.
we don't think about it, but we're constantly getting our information from commodified information fields or markets or whatever, where it's like everything that you're reading is it's making someone money. So that's the only reason it's there. That's the only reason you're reading it. So there's got to be some reason that you're reading it. So it's very hard to get good free information.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
stuff that
I
you can
mean,
trust.
it's necessary, man. It needs to be some way. Like someone's not gonna pay
Yeah.
after listening to someone else misinform them. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
There's
Parents
too
don't
much.
inform their kids.
Yeah.
Then there's actual misinformation just coming at people, and kids.
Mhm.
I mean, there's grown ass people that can't really sort through information.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
We're as it seems like as the years go on, like our critical thinking skills are just getting shittier and shittier.
Yeah, we're not asking ourselves like the right questions, and I think it's maybe because we don't know where to start.
Right.
I'm guessing. Like, I know that there's YouTube, YouTube like lessons and stuff like that, but that's another thing. Like, I've learned to ask questions and the right type of questions by starting with, for me, it was like my mental health. What a better foundation, to have than, you know, yourself, you're aware of your surroundings, you're aware of certain things, so then you can ask better questions and look around and pay attention and know what to do and listen to people and communicate well. Like, there's all types of great little rewards in having good mental health and
Figuring it out and like seeing yourself get better.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially from a place of hopelessness, it's like.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And going back to like, what if family members had gotten better mental health care or health care, and then had, a better way of like, say, our parents being better parents because of it, and then we would not, like, say, like, if we started right now, better mental health care across the board, like, there would be future us's in the world, through other kids, and they would have had a much better life. Like, I'm confident in that because other countries have experienced that, and all it took was just caring about people, being honest, and having honest policies that
that aren't incentivized for like
Yeah.
just a small profitable
yeah,
few.
that was an actual solution to the mess of a problem. You actually listened to people that knew what to do with that money and how to create foundations that would better help people, above and beyond.
Right. I think that's the main problem that people don't get about how capitalism can't solve everything, because just the whole formula of capitalism is like, how do I get more value out of you than you get out of me? And I walk away with more value, and then how do I hold on to that value? How do I increase that value? How do I use that value for leverage? How can I build on that value? How can I hand that value down to my kids? And it's not really looking forward.
Right.
It's predatory. It's a thing that eats itself. It can't create cures. It can only help with your symptoms.
Right.
Because it needs you to come back next week.
Yeah.
And then say the next thing for the next symptom.
Right. Yeah. It's a dying system. I mean, I know it's still here, and it's been kind of taking over.
Capitalism.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna die, and and we're gonna have to. I mean, a lot of people are awake to that too, because a lot of people that have health insurance, it's like they don't believe in. And these.
You couldn't. There's
Yeah.
no sentient person.
They don't actually believe that this is the way. Like,
Right.
we should definitely have the highest deductibles, even for like your middle class worker, just because. And then you never really meet those deductibles to, get something affordable, and you can only. It's like, what the fuck, no one actually believes that.
It costs more if you come to us sick and you need us.
Yeah.
The simple part of it's fucked up.
Yeah, and could you imagine, like, someone with cancer or something like that? You know how expensive that shit is. Like, you're dying of cancer, and it's still expensive, even with health insurance. And it's like the stress on top of stress. It's like,
I've
you're
heard some people
killing
say
people.
that the debt is worse than the cancer or the treatment.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's a
You can lose a
cancer
lot.
survivor that
Yeah.
said that? Yeah.
It's one of
Jesus
my
Christ.
mom's friends.
Oh my God. And straight from, a person that's... Is she okay? Like, is she still alive?
Yeah, she's fine.
She survived it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's just like how much it costs, even if you have good insurance.
Yes.
Like you can still lose equity.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm already losing flesh and hair and cells and the system that is supposedly supposed to help me.
Right. Yeah, it's
And not scare the God fucking Jesus holy hell out of you. I mean, if you own anything, it takes you forever to own it, and then you can get sick, and then it all just disappears in a matter of a year or two.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's really sad because people are not fully aware of how bad our system is. Like, there's so many sad stories, even from someone with good health insurance. Jesus Christ. And then on top of that, like, you don't see the other side of it where, the crime scene cleaners, they're picking up a suicide, the little pieces of a suicide that happened between like a couple that was inevitably gonna die. But I'm trying to remember that story so I can say it more eloquently. The medical bills were too high and the medicines were too much. And that does happen because there are seizure medicines that cost like $90, per prescription. And it's like then they commit suicide together, like they just want to end it, and it's like Jesus Christ, Like, and these people, like, I wish Congress, our government, would just give a few seats to these crime scene cleaners at least and be like, tell me what you see on a day-to-day basis. And it's
they wouldn't
freaking
give a shit.
Well,
let me go ahead and stop you right there.
They don't give a shit.
It's
wishful thinking, but could you imagine if they did and actually talk to people that had to see the worst of the worst,
The past year, I've spent a lot of time watching Senate hearings.
Oh, God.
And I've spent a lot of time watching congresspersons. I don't know what you call them now, but these people do not care.
Yeah.
It is. I honestly think that they speak to be cut up into sound bites for their binary news networks.
For the memes.
For the memes, for like they just like they know it's gonna be sliced up a certain way, so they like say their stuff and they get off the stage. Like they can have a hearing about blah 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 blah. Whatever it is, like they're interviewing Facebook about censoring conservatives, and somehow they'll mention like Hillary's emails from fucking 4 years ago or something, and it's like, bro, nobody cares, nobody's thinking about that. Like, they're so detached. They have no idea how to even like bait us, really. Like it's everybody's following Trump because Trump is the first politician aside from Bernie Sanders to hit a nerve in the past 10 years besides Obama.
Oh yeah.
The reason that those motherfuckers have their jobs is because they're really good at being bad. Like Mitch McConnell,
it's a circle jerk of people,
Mitch McConnell can sit up there and be Mitch and just all the death rays coming in from America, just cooking his soul.
Yeah.
And he just takes it all in and just loves it,
Yeah. Well, I think it's unfortunate that these people like thrive off of hearing their mind farts of opinions. Like, it's just like, oh, but it should be written in gold because it came from my brain and it's my opinion and no one else's opinion matters. And then we're just going to make a law about it.
It's the brain death of the Western death cult.
Yeah. It's
Calvinism and consumerism eating each other.
Yeah, it's all that matters to them. They have no direction in life. It's just they are being directed by their baseless, corrupt opinions, and it doesn't fucking matter. No one's opinions fucking matter. It's just entertainment, like fucking farts. It's just
fart noises.
It's just to let out every once in a while.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? But should we make laws about it? Fuck no. What? Like, no, of course not. That is common sense. They always talk about, we should bring back common sense. There you go. That's a little bit of common sense for you. And it's just like, that's decision makers should learn and be knowledgeable and have experience in something and use those experiences to talk amongst themselves to resolve these issues. But it's been nothing about experiences or their memories. It's all about their
conservatives
fucked up opinions,
Yeah, conservatives. Okay, so just to touch base on the binary, I'm not a fan of Democrats at all, but conservatives literally don't offer up any kind of solutions.
Right.
They're like that's not even a part of their thing. They don't even pretend to offer up a solution. They're just like,
It's all emotions, no logic. I mean,
right,
from what I see, it's a lot of yelling and red, pink faces, and
yeah,
there was this guy actually running as a Republican, and it was during a time where I was just like really angry at like everybody, like especially Republicans at that time,
yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, I wish more Republicans were like this guy, which is astounding that would even happen. But
Hmm.
what he did was he has like an ironclad policy that is adopted from a problem he resolved. Like there was a teamwork effort already, there was experiences, like it was an experience-based solution, and he wanted to run for office. He was just running for office. I don't know if he won or not, but it was all there, and he wanted to push that and to make it into law because it was palpable, it was valuable, it had something of worth because it worked.
It's so hard for
You
me
know,
to believe that there's a Republican that would
I saw him on
think or do
Twitter.
any of that.
I saw him on Twitter. He's got a
He
excuse me,
sounds
not
like
a
a
Facebook.
fable.
He's got a website on his thing too, and everyone's got not everyone. I no, not everyone, but some people do have that to bring to the table. It's been worked out. They've got these experiences. They've got it recorded or documented, or even if it's just talking amongst yourselves, like telling your story and what helped you or whatever. Like, that's fucking inspiring. Like.
Hmm.
If only that was on C-SPAN, solution-based experiences and telling your story, like something that's real and not based from your fucking opinions, because who gives a shit? No one fucking cares. I got an opinion too. And
Yeah.
fuck it. Like, I'm not trying to
If
make a
nothing-
law about it. Jesus
If
Christ.
nothing else, the really weird thing about op-eds kind of taking over everything in the past
Yeah.
maybe 10 years of just political or cultural discourse, op-eds, op-eds, op-eds. It's made to where no one has to do journalism because everything is just like opinion based, and everything's wishy-washy, and everything's like some cultural binary, and everything's just about either the triggers, either you use the triggers, or you build the triggers, or you trigger the triggers. It's just like everyone's so self-aware and atomized, and we're all in our little bubble, and we're like, oh, don't touch my bubble, oh, my bubble, don't touch my bubble. And like, it's so strange.
And it's sad because it's like, where is the confidence?
I think it goes back to the critical thinking.
Yes.
Everything
Yes.
everything is an attack on us, or everything's an attacker on our identity that we've chosen in our capitalist avatar that we build in the digital world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's where you can build your confidence. And so
LARP
when
is a leftist.
yeah. Yeah, and so when someone tries to break your confidence, you're like, no, I fucking know what I'm talking about.
I
So
have
no one can like step
experiences,
all
yeah.
over you. That's another thing. Like, people can step on like mostly everyone nowadays, because it's like we're all just not all of us. A lot of us are. Some of us are like just fucking losers talking out of our asses, and there's no confidence in that. It's just high emotions, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then they cry like a little baby at night.
Mhm.
It's like, come on, like, we're adults. Like,
Or they do
where's the
something
well
else because
adult
they
in
don't
the
let
room?
themselves cry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I definitely feel like in this whole late capitalist thing we live in our atomized experiences, and we can all get stuck inside this safety space that we build for ourselves. We have to learn how to build and share with other people, or else this huge superstructure is going to zap us of every fucking bit of value that we have, which includes cultural, it includes, I mean, I say it all the time, but if the product is free, you are the product. And that goes with social media and all the other shit that we think we need and we think we have to have, or else we'll fucking evaporate. Like, we have to learn to share with people and commune with people and build with people and learn with people and also sort through fucking information. But that comes with hanging out with people and, you know, learning who's shiesty and who's the grifter.
Oh yeah.
Because you see these predatory patterns, and it's easier to recognize once, you know, like, you know, there's different types of intelligence, and like you have to kind of share with other people to understand the superstructure, the predatory superstructure. You know, we're being zapped of value and resources. We got to take care of each other.
Yeah,
until we can give ourselves health care.
Yeah. I mean, it is like, in a healthy society, there is a community, you know, and I think that's a sign that we've lost ourselves. And, you know, a lot of it is just lying, like micro lies, and as well as not really taking care of each other. And
we'd rather live the lie than, you know, have to deal with the concrete failures of our meat suits and our limitations.
Yeah, I'm sure it is tough to acknowledge that, you know, but we have to be strong enough to do that, and then we can resolve the issues. But you have to be strong enough to do that. Like, there's just no other way around it, you know. And a day at a time, or a truth at a time. Like, you know, you gotta start someplace, you know, go to sleep, take nap times, like, you know,
whatever works.
Absorb and rest, like, you know, it's
put your feet
tough.
Back on the material world.
Yeah, choose something that you want to resolve, you know, I mean, that you're passionate about, and you know, it's like little baby steps, and that's a lot of what I do. And it works. You just have
figure
to
it
find
out
the right
one
people.
day figure out one day at a time. You know,
Yeah.
it's a lifelong project, just like our
really
friend
is.
High, you know. You get a little better at it every year.
It does get easier. It really does.
I think.
For me, it did.
Okay. Yeah.
At first, it was terribly hard.
Some days, you know, I think, you know, what I do is very easy, and then some days it's just excruciating.
Yeah.
To get through the day and try to get the extra energy to care about the things that I think I should care about, you know?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But that's all a part of that mental health thing.
Yeah, it's so... As long as you're mentally well and, you know, physically well, like, you know, you can make things better.
Yeah, better, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Solar Monk Show and today's guest, Courtney Brown. Remember, April 18th at Stove House here in Huntsville, Alabama, we're having Music for Healthcare. It's a benefit for the Community Free Clinic of Huntsville, 1 to 9 p.m. It's free. Bring donations, please. Thank you.
And good night.